Right now at noon, authorities in Vinita, Oklahoma battle a fire at a senior living apartment building.
And we've got dangerous heat across the area, excessive heat warnings and heat advisories in place. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, the fourth state record show takes attendees back in time to a more analog era of music.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A 6-year-old boy from Carthage, Missouri is dead following a boating accident on Table Rock Lake. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. It happened around 11 a.m. Friday. Authorities say the boy was riding a kneeboard behind a boat in Clevelander Cove. The boy fell off the kneeboard, so the boat tried returning to him, but the boy got caught in the boat's propeller while it was still in reverse. Missouri State Highway Patrol investigated the incident. Fire crews in Vinita, Oklahoma Friday battled a blaze at a senior living apartment building. Multiple fire departments helped put out the fire at the Burroughs Manor Senior Living Apartments at 111 South Thompson Street. Firefighters rescued 2 residents who were unharmed. However, several firefighters were treated and released for heat-related injuries. The Vinita Police Department and Craig County Sheriff's Office are investigating the fire. Authorities say they've arrested someone, though formal charges have not yet been filed. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got dangerous heat to contend with. Now, over the weekend, it got pretty muggy with some dying thunderstorms, but temperatures were much more manageable. Not going to be the case over the next several days. Quick look at the MoDOT camera. 20th and range line from this morning. We had sunshine rolling in. We also had some clouds out there. You can see from our Cornell camera in downtown Joplin from some thunderstorms. We had a few pop-up storms early this morning to southwestern Missouri. Those are exiting the area. We have the excessive heat warnings for most of southeast Kansas through 8 o'clock Thursday. And then we have heat advisories for parts of Kansas and into Missouri through 7 p.m. on Thursday. And then in Oklahoma, the Tulsa Weather Office going through 9 o'clock tonight with the advisories and the warnings, and they'll very likely go back into effect tomorrow. We're talking heat index values potentially up to 115 degrees. Quick look also at the KDOT camera. 69 Kansas crossing from this morning, giving us ample sunshine despite thunderstorm activity that was out there early this morning across parts of southwestern Missouri. We also had activity off to our west that just really couldn't push past east of Emporia out there, but that same wave could trigger some pop-up showers in our far northern counties later today. Started yesterday at 73, made it to 89, so believe it or not, relatively close to normal. That is not going to be the case over the next several days as temperatures continue to climb across the area. Heading through the evening, again, just straight up hot. We're in the low 90s and mid to upper 80s heading into the late night hours out there, and maybe a few clouds here and there. We'll have a complete look at your forecast and talk about this dangerous heat in detail here in just a few more minutes.
See you soon. Well, new students at the Joplin campus of Kansas City University walked across the stage yesterday at Joplin High School for their white coat ceremony. The white coat symbolizes a commitment a doctor has to their patient. 162 students walked across the stage, marking the start of their journey at KCU.
So this entire experience has been very surreal. When I was 18, when I first entered undergraduate, trying to become a physician was, more so a hope and a dream, not something I kind of felt was truly attainable. But now that I'm here at the white coat ceremony, it feels like all my hard work and efforts have finally bore some fruit. I'm finally able to be here and potentially have the courtesy to serve others.
The ceremony marks the official start of medical school for the new students as they receive their white coats and take the osteopathic oath. The Joplin Mineral and History Museum hosted an event they hope will grow a passion. The Joplin Plant Swap allows anyone with a green thumb to buy and swap plants for their home, garden, or anything else they might need. There's also a variety of plants from flowers to cacti and other succulents. Around 200 people came to Saturday's event.
Basically, me and my friends were talking about how we wanted a plant swap, but nobody around here did it, so I just kind of stepped up.
Most of the time we try to strive for individuals to swap only because it's a community, a plant community. However, we can definitely sell plants and locally made items, so it's not just plants, it's local craft too.
The museum waived entry fees for anyone attending the plant swap so they could tour the museum for free. Well, festivities were underway Saturday at the Oklahoma Route 66 Heritage Festival in Miami. It's a two-day celebration that takes over the city's main street and part of Route 66. The festival featured live music, food trucks, and a marketplace, and there was also a Kidsville with bounce houses, magic shows, face painting, and much more throughout the weekend. Attendees could also view the festival's car show or the Smoking on the Route barbecue competition. Community members say the yearly Heritage Festival is a great way to bring people together.
And so to be able to provide something that is completely free to make memories for your family, it's kind of irreplaceable. It's really a neat experience, and I know everyone at the City of Miami is really happy and proud to be able to do that.
The Heritage Festival concluded at 7 on Saturday, and this was the fourth year Miami held the festival. It's often said that music can bring people together, and that's exactly what it did yesterday at a fundraiser to support a longtime local musician. KOAM Samantha Walker has that story.
Steve Duncan is a well-recognized figure in the Joplin music scene, known for his talents as a bass player and role in numerous bands.
But yeah, Steve, I joined Southern Fried Band with him in '78.
Fellow musicians say Duncan has helped in countless benefits for other people, always happy to help support those who need it, and never asking for help himself.
Yeah, he'd give you the shirt off his back, and if you wanted his pants, he'd give them too. He's just so nice, respectful to everybody. That's why everybody loves him. You know, he's a real person, like your brother or like your daddy.
But recently he was diagnosed with what his friends refer to as the dreaded Big C.
Steve earlier this year was diagnosed with cancer, and he's had all kinds of treatments for this. Naturally, there's all kinds of expenses with those. We all know what health care is like these days.
Those who know Duncan and his long history of music hope to change the tune of a bad situation. Friends and other local musicians have organized a benefit concert called All In for Dunk, held at the Joplin VFW. Bands including Southern Fried, Smoot, and Lonnie Hullett are just a few of those taken to the stage in support of Duncan. Edmonton not only helped organize the benefit for Duncan, but he also helped play a set. He says for many it was an easy decision to be a part of the fundraiser.
This room is filled with people who have known him for 30 years or more, and many of them he's played benefits for in the past for similar situations. So we're here to return the love.
Duncan has throat cancer, which has made it difficult to do many things, including work or even talk at times.
He's slowly coming around, getting better, and you know, we're just hoping he'll feel good enough to play with us today, because we're playing today.
And to the crowd's joy, he did just that. Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
There's also a GoFundMe set up in support of Duncan. You can find the link to that on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, coming up, the Vice President Kamala Harris is getting closer to picking her running mate. And later, we're making barbecue pork chops and potatoes in the Mr. Food kitchen. Election Day is now just 99 days away. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign says it raised a record $200 million in the week after President Biden stepped aside from the race. Nicole Skenga reports from Washington.
With just about 3 months to Election Day, both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump hit the campaign trail over the weekend.
We are going to win.
You're going to be crushed if you don't elect me.
It comes as a new poll shows that Harris has a higher favorability among voters than Trump, barely a week after she entered the race. The Harris campaign says it brought in $200 million in the first week of her candidacy. That's a record. It's also touting signing up more than 170,000 new volunteers.
We are seeing on the ground a lot of enthusiasm and excitement.
Trump stepped up his attacks on Harris.
I'm running against a low IQ individual.
Kamala Harris's deadly destruction of America's borders is completely and totally disqualifying for her to be president.
Harris had this response.
Donald Trump has been resorting to some wild lies about my record, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Trump also stirred up some back and forth with this unusual plea to Christian conservatives Saturday.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore.
Republicans scrambled to explain.
I think he's obviously making a joke about how bad things have been under Joe Biden.
But the Harris campaign said Trump was signaling an end to democracy. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you've tucked away your slow cooker for the summer, it's time to dig it out because we have the perfect summertime recipe waiting for you.
And we're talking dangerous heat for the next several days and maybe some slight rain chances. We'll go over those details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we had some clouds out there early this morning from some thunderstorms that developed into southwestern Missouri. However, we're going to be dry, muggy, and just plain miserable with some dangerous, potentially deadly heat across the area. Let's start with the future track and talk about what we're expecting heading through the rest of today. Unfortunately, not much. By the late evening hours, we could see a straight shower or thunderstorm in our far northern counties. This is going to be very isolated and very short-lived. So the majority of us, 98% of us, are going to remain dry, hot, muggy. We've got a gusty southwest wind that'll be pushing 30 miles an hour at times, and it could continue to gust overnight, tonight, into tomorrow as well. And as we head into our Tuesday, too, other than the stray cloud here or there, breezy and still hot. And look at some of these temperatures. The further west you go, the hotter it gets. So we're looking at lower 100s for some of our friends in the far western parts of our area. Yates Center, Chinook, Fredonia, down to Bartlesville. And this trend is going to continue. There's really not much to show on the future track. Maybe a stray shower or storm on Wednesday. But again, the majority of us hot, dry, breezy, muggy, dangerous heat continues across the area. And that's why at least the National Weather Service offices in Wichita and in Springfield that control the bulk of our area here have gone ahead and put out these heat alerts through Thursday. So in Kansas, again, this is an excessive heat warning through 8 o'clock Thursday. And then in the Springfield coverage area here, these are heat advisories through 7 o'clock Thursday. And then Tulsa's office is going to kind of play it day by day, but theirs go much later until 9 o'clock tonight for advisories and warnings. So again, in the excessive heat warnings, we're talking heat index values upwards of 115 degrees. And in the advisories, we're talking heat index values 105 to 110. So honestly, number one thing, if you don't have to be outdoors, don't. It is too dangerous. This heat could be potentially deadly for some. If you have to work outdoors, limit your time outside as much as you can. Take frequent breaks. Stay hydrated because it is just going to be oppressively hot. So here's a quick look at some of those heat safety tips. Early morning walks for your pets. Make sure they're indoors. Otherwise, it is going to be too hot for them to spend time outside. Kids the same way. Honestly, it's a little too hot for them to be spending time outside, but even if they're not outside that much, ensure they're staying hydrated. Water and Pedialyte Pop's a good way to do that. For those who have to be outdoors working, make sure you find shade, drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks out there, and absolutely check on the elderly. Like kids, they're very vulnerable to these kinds of temperatures, and you want to make sure that they're doing okay. Make sure their AC is working well for them as well. Again, highs today, upper 90s, maybe some lower 100s, heat index values to 115, and those southwest winds gusting to 30. Few clouds overnight, no relief from the heat. We'll stay in the upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s here and there, and those winds could still occasionally gust upwards of 25. And we'll see those gusts continue tomorrow. Mostly clear skies, upper 90s once again, some lower 100s absolutely possible. Those heat index values also once again approaching 115 degrees for some of us out there. As we look down the road, again, no relief in sight. That's why these advisories and warnings continue all the way into Thursday, is because look at those temperatures. We're talking highs regularly into the lower 100s by Wednesday, Thursday, and slightly better rain chances, although still minimal as we head into Thursday and Friday. A brief break from the heat on Saturday in the low low 90s, and then we'll get really hot again as we head into the next work week. Elise?
All right, it's definitely going to be hot. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making a barbecue pork chops and potatoes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is showing us how to make barbecue pork chops and potatoes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We're smack dab in the middle of summer, and that means the last thing we probably want is to heat up our kitchen by turning on our oven. Yet, that doesn't mean we're willing to eat salads and sandwiches until the weather cools down. So I recommend that you dig out your slow cooker. You see, it delivers a hot and hearty meal without warming up your kitchen. We start by searing a few thick, bone-in pork chops that we've seasoned with some salt, pepper, and garlic. While those finish up, we place some potatoes and onions that we sliced into our slow cooker and top them with some barbecue sauce. Our pork chops go on top of this, arranging them so they cook evenly, and we top them with even more barbecue sauce. We cover this and set it on high for 3 to 4 hours, or on low for 7 to 8, and you're free to go about your day. When it's dinner time, all you have to do is dish up everything, and dinner is served. Juicy? Yes. All in one? Yes. All without heating up your kitchen? Yes. So if you want the perfect recipe for the dog days of summer, all you have to do is go to our website and look for barbecue pork chops and potatoes. It's that easy. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an all-in-one way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, we have the dangerous heat continuing through the end of this week. Excessive heat warnings and heat advisories. Heat index values could reach 115 degrees. Maybe a few pop-up storms Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. A bit cooler on Saturday, low 90s. And then we'll heat back up again heading into the next work week with plentiful sunshine.
So a few not so fun summer days ahead of us. Well, coming up tonight at 5, U.S. health officials have announced a recall of some deli meats as they're investigating an outbreak of listeria. Nearly 3 dozen people in 13 states have been sickened and 2 people have died. We're going to take a look at some of the symptoms of listeria and what to do if you get sick. Plus, Healthy Bourbon County Action Team received $55,000 grant to help with food insecurity. And young musicians learn the sounds of summer at PSU's band camp. You can join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. That's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.